Okay, so a little bit more clarity here on how the units operate. And bear in mind, these are invitations, so we're looking for the unit leaders, the assistants, and the volunteers. Each unit is going to have one leader and two assistants. All three of these people will each get a seat at the round table. When we do our process for determining our course of action, I'll explain what it is later, but it's going to involve everyone who has a seat at the round table expressing their having a chance to express their creative input, to share their ideas, and to express what they can in fact do. So this unit leader is going to be responsible for two assistants, but the three of them actually work together as a team of three, and they all have a seat at the round table with an equal voice, and they are in charge of whatever volunteers they can manage to attract to their unit. Now each unit leader is going to answer to the administration group when it comes to money. They deal with the comptroller. When it comes to communication and coordination with other units, if they have a problem, they'll deal with the RSM, the Regimented Sergeant Major, and they will also answer to a certain degree to the production end of it. However, mostly what they will end up doing is taking directives from the director, and that's me. I'm the creative force behind it. If you are incapable of accepting directives, this is not the place for you. Yes, you are going to be asked to input your creativeness. We want your creativity. We want your passion. We want you to bring your soul to bear here and to really help us achieve things. You will have some input, but when all is said and done, the course of action and the way it unfolds is going to be determined by the director. Now, if that sounds egotistical, I'm sorry, but directors are directors. They have a job to do, and although I will be seeking input from the unit leaders, once that process is done and we get to the point where it's time to get things done, you will be required to accept the directives. Now again, if these directives are unacceptable to what we had previously all agreed was the fundamental goal, then you will have recourse. You can go to the production crew, or you can go to the admin and through to your ombudsman, essentially the RSM. And if any of them, or to the grandfather that I had mentioned earlier, and if any of them raise a serious objection, then we do have another round table. And if there's a problem, I'll accept correction. But for the most part, I know what needs to be done. And what I'm not going to abide by, and what you should not expect, is to come be a unit leader and then think that the outcome is going to be based, that it's going to be democratically operated. It's not. Hope you're okay with that. I've decided to get big and shiny and just get this shit done. So folks, here's a little diagram expressing the way it's pretty much a standard process used in the movie making industry for achieving things. Essentially, once we pick the people that are going to be operating as the first round of unit heads, unit leaders, and their assistants, we're going to have a meet and greet. Then we have a round table chat. It's at this point in time that we actually tell you what it is we want from you, what we want to achieve. We then have a chat about that, and at that point you can input your creative thoughts. Then there's a period where you go away for about a week and you study this, and we come back and there's a report period where you report back to the production and the director on what is available to you, what you think you can accomplish. Just because we say we want this doesn't mean you can actually produce it. So you come back, and at this point you give us information concerning what it is you think you can do, what problems you might be facing. Maybe you can do more than you thought you could, who knows. Then we have another rechat, and we expand at this point our course of action, and we refine our course of action. Then you guys separate off, the unit heads separate off, and yet still maintaining communication and working together. There is a coordinated period of coordinated action, a period of coordinated action, leading to the Summit of Free People. hosted by the World Freeman Society, and we will have our first Congress of the World Freeman Society at the same time. Properly done, that will lead to the establishment and creation of the courts, the Canadian Common Corps of Peace Officers, and the Valley, the Freeman Valley, where we start opening up our ability to go out, claim, seize, and homestead land without paying anyone. Pretty good plan so far, eh? Here you have Rob's very cunning plan in this amazing software program, Personal Brain. We have a website set up with all of this. As you can see, when you click on right here, this is your main thought. Under it, you have the children thoughts. Here you have jump thoughts. Up here you have the parent thoughts, sibling thoughts over on the far right. Down on the lower level you got your notes area here. This is Rob's very cunning plan right here, and here we have all of the various units. Now these units, I will click on, say, C3PO. And you see it now becomes the central thought, and then underneath it you have all of the things that are going to need to be accomplished. This right here is the unit with the unit head, the 2 assistants, and the volunteers, and these are the things which they must accomplish. Now this has been done for all of them, from C3PO, the festival tour, website creation, the Valley, the Summit of Free People. It's all there ready to go. If you do send in your notice that you want to be a part of this, assistants and heads are going to be given the codes necessary to access this website and begin the process of establishing Rob's very cunning plan 2.0. Now, what I'd like to do here is I'd like to clarify a few things. The role that I see myself playing. I don't really see myself so much as the leader of the whole unit as I am the facilitator of the leaders. What I have done is, in this plan there are 19 units, and each one requires a unit leader and 2 assistants, and then there'll be room for volunteers. As the director, really what my job is to do is to define the goal. To start, the first thing you do, I read this really nice quote. First you define the goal. The first thing you do is define the goal. The last thing you do is say thank you, and in between you act as a servant. And I think that's probably pretty much closest to what I see. If this was like a kitchen, I'm the dishwasher, and all of these guys are going to be the sous chefs with their assistants. And then my goal is just make sure that they all have everything they need, they don't step on each other's toes, and they coordinate their actions properly so that we do achieve the goal. So what we're looking for are really some phenomenal people. We're looking for 19 of the most phenomenal people on the planet, people who are leaders, people who are capable of inspiring and encouraging and defining a path that others will find following is beneficial to them. We're looking for leaders for these various units, and we're looking for assistants as well. Now some of these seats have already filled up, so for each unit there's going to be 3 seats, and then of course a cadre of volunteers hopefully to make it all happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through these units, and you decide whether or not you want to be a part of one, whether or not you feel you have the leadership capability and you play well enough with others that you can achieve your goals and fulfill your projects without harming other people who are trying to do theirs. The 3 biggies of this entire plan, really, remember the goal: peace and abundance. If we had a true force of peace officers across Canada, and we had people's courts where corporations and fictions were not heard, just people, and they were held to the standard, and they didn't try to say